I call on you, my friend, a helping hand you lend in my time of need. So I'm calling you now, just to make it through. What else can I do? Won't you hear my plea? Friends may come and friends may go, but you should know that I've got your back. It's automatic, so never hesitate to call. 'Cause I'm your sister, and always for you. And don't know what I'd ever do without you from the beginning to the end. You've always been here right beside me, so I'll call you my best friend. Through the good times and the bad ones, whether I lose or if I win, I know one thing that never changes, and that's you and my best friend. Whenever I'm done, and all that's going on is really going on. Just one of those days when you say the right thing to keep me moving on, to keep me going strong. What else can I say? Friends are there through thick and thin. Well, I've been told that, and I believe that it's automatic for me when you need a friend. 'Cause I'm your sister, and always for you, and I don't know what I'd ever do without you. You've always been here, you'll always be, so I'll call you my best friend. The good times and the bad ones, whether I lose or if I win, changes, and that's you. I don't know, I don't know without you from the beginning till the end. You've always been here, so I'll call you my best friend. Through the good times and the bad, good times and the bad ones, I know one thing that never changes, and that's you and my best friend. I'll be there for you when you're going through. You can count on me. Call me when you need. I don't know what I'd ever do without you. Don't you know? You've always been here right beside me, so I'll call you my best friend. Through the good times and the bad ones, oh yeah, I win. I know one thing that never changes, and that's you and my best friend. What I'd ever do without you.
everybody, and welcome to the Gawd Roundtable, bitch. Okay, and welcome to my channel, YBENTTV. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share because we all know that sharing is caring, bitch. All right. Hit the notification bell. That way, you'll be updated each and every time I'm uploading something new. And yes, welcome. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our special guest panelists for the night. Our co-hosts should be joining us shortly. So, Conscious TV, hello.
Hi, I'm taking your job, co-host. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on? How's everything?
Everything is lovely, but fuck my everything. Can we talk about how lovely everything is looking on your end, Mr. Entrepreneur, Mr. Keep Everything Motherfucking Natural? Like, I was just telling Yes Bitch that I'm about to box all his shit. I'm about to just buy out his whole inventory, honey. So all you hoes who think you about to get a scrub, know me, I'm like, just wait on next month when he get that fresh batch in, because I'm gonna need all that. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been like I keep saying, just a lot of hard work, but it's paying off, and
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
What gave you the balls to step out and do it? Because a lot of people have vision, but sometimes it's just a lack of faith that keeps them from acting out on.
Well, one of the things I appreciate coronavirus for is it makes you take a step back and look at the world, look at yourself, reality basically. And when I look at how people are treated, you don't work, you don't eat type of tea, right? And I look like I'm forever spending the bulk of our life helping someone else build their dream, being a worker instead of a boss, instead of creating your own name for yourself, creating your own business, creating your own wealth, or just your own financial, foundation, period. So for me, it was just like, it was something I was doing for myself. But then when I was playing around with it and giving my extras to people around, people enjoyed it. And I said, you know what? I originally was going to open up a cleaning business.
Oh.
But I was like, girl, my knees are bad. We probably did all those years of trade. My knees are back are bad, honey. And y'all ain't going to have me out here doing none of that shit. So I was like, let me find something I love to do. So I know this is weird. I compared it to cooking. I love cooking. And this is the same thing. It's a recipe. You're whipping something up in your kitchen. It's all natural. Yeah. So I said, shit, might as well see what I can do. And then once I put this in my thought, things started opening up to make it seem like I can turn this into a business. So why not? And also, I'm not for stepping out on faith too much. So when this was constantly in my spirit, I was like, you know what? They say if it's there, honey, you better use it before you lose it.
Absolutely. So you were one of those people who kind of like something unexpectedly good came out of such terrible circumstances. That's really dope.
Pretty much. And also challenging myself because I always have these great ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never actually put them into action. This was one I've talked about writing books, and I've started on those things. I've talked about writing screenplays, and I've started on those things, but never actually finished shit.
Yeah.
So this was something I felt like was within my lane to complete, to make happen. So
yeah.
The accomplishment really came from pushing it out and forcing myself to make it public. So I have no choice but to, because I hear in these streets, honey, if you don't put mind to purpose and bring that shit to fruition, the girls are going to laugh.
Chew it up, honey.
So once you announce something, you have no choice but to see it through. Because if you don't, they will gather your ass. And it'll be hard to be legendary, honey.
Okay.
It'll be hard. It'll be definitely
Yeah, but come on with the inspiration for the kids for 2021. Like, that's a fucking sickening. But I think you still should go through with the whole cleaning company thing. Like, that's
actually, I'm going to put out my whole goal here. Mm-hmm. So, my plan is, because Florida, and since we're going through this whole, quarantine and social distancing shit, I thought about it. I said, in a couple of years, when Tika Naturals does what I expect it to do, I want to buy into getting a drive-through corner store. Because those are bumping down here. There's only a handful, but they're very busy. So I want to do a drive-through corner store with a diner, a 24-hour diner attached to it.
Come on, rest stop teas.
With Southern Eats, since I love to cook, and I know the girls are always hungry. And since COVID-19, businesses aren't staying open late no more. So the girls that be night hawking like myself be looking for some real food, not that fast food.
Okay.
So that's the goal. Hopefully, later on down the road, when things take off, and just spread out these wings. And do it.
I ain't mad at it. One dream at a time.
Someone was telling me that I should turn Tika Naturals, depending on the success, into like an Avon thing. I said, hell no.
Why not?
That's too. I feel like that's too much. If that's the case, I might as well sell the company to L'Oreal or to Burt's Bees or to somebody, or Michelle's daughter or whatever that brand is called. I might as well just sell all that over to them.
Why not just get your Candy Burris on? Like,
not because I don't want someone else trying to water down my shit.
That's true.
Even if I sell it off to someone, I still might be in my girl, I need to come into the manufacturing company to see what y'all doing, girl, because this has my name on it. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the risk you take by selling it. Like, that's why you should definitely remain just expand the business. That'll be dope. That'll be dope. Like, for you to have other entrepreneurs be able to buy into the business, work through the company, get their own little independent agency on when it comes to the brand. That's how you keep that wealth just producing itself again and again and again.
Well, and even
I think it's hard for you to contemplate it now because you bitch, just getting the shit off the ground is taking enough of my motherfucking mental space up. I don't even want to think about what expansion looks like, but I think later on, after you get through your little first phase of this, you'll be like, okay.
Hopefully in 2 years' time, I have a deadline. Capricorns, we gotta always set our goals, and we gotta put timelines in there. I would like to get a physical location and use the back to do all my major manufacturing, because I'm one man right now, and just fulfilling the orders that I get now can be a little overwhelming. So imagine when I have thousands of people buying my shit. I'm not gonna, my fat ass ain't gonna, no, God. I'm gonna need some help, bitch. So,
right.
You'll
be big boss by then. You will have a staff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That would be perfect. I'm ready. And also watching Madam C.J. Walker's story.
Yeah.
No matter how fucked up that movie was, child, thanks to that raggedy bitch, Tiffany Haddish. But, girl, it was a good movie.
I have not seen it.
It's actually really good. I love it, but I just Tiffany Haddish just fucked it up for me, child.
Really? Why? I mean, is she just bad at acting?
Because she's just not needed, required, or desired. She's not needed, required, or desired on the comedic stage of life, and she's not needed, required, or desired in motion picture. Especially on a level when you're trying to tell the story of the late great Madam C.J. Walker, bitch. You don't need her.
Who the hell casted her to begin with? Who thought that was a good idea?
Child, the same people who thought it was a good idea to bring her out publicly for the start of her career.
Right. About
the same
that.
People who think the cat that think what's her brother, child, her retarded brother, Kevin Hart, child. The same people who think he's funny.
Okay, but can we agree Kevin got more funny in him than Tiff? He got more funny in him than Tiff do.
Say that again?
I said, can we agree that at least Kev got more funny in him than Tiff do?
I mean, the last 3 specials that I saw of him, I did not laugh. All I kept doing, you know how you yell at a horror film, bitch, why are you running in the dark? Or why are you falling all the time? That's what I was doing. I was cussing that bitch out bitch, that ain't funny. And the only reason her last little special was funny because she actually opened up for her friends. Flame Monroe, and the rest of those girls that came on that Netflix special. Now that was some funny shit.
Tiffany has never been funny, but I can at least say Kevin Hart has funny moments. He's not my favorite comedian, but I get a cackle every now and again.
The most funniest things I've ever really seen of him are when it's at the expense of himself. When he's talking about how he's a scary little man and how he's always trying to fight people, but he always is really scared at the end of the day. Like, it's always at a joke that puts himself out there. And it's just, that's like me. I be talking about, oh, this fat bitch with 3 necks and shit like that. Like, girl, we all can laugh at some shit like that, but at the end of the day, it's a joke that is about self. Hello, Chad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Hi, Kicey.
Julia, Jules, So Jeff.
Jeff.
Hey, Casey. How are y'all today? Child, yes, honey. I'm a real, like, when it comes to comedy, if it's not an Eddie Murphy or a Dave Chappelle, honey, you can miss me. You can miss me.
I thought Dave Chappelle was so dry and lackluster, like, forever until recently. Like, recently, I watched, like, his latest stand-up comedy, and I was like, oh, my God, Dave Chappelle, like, I slept on you, my nigga. But one of my favorite comedians is Chris Rock. I like a little bit of intellect when it comes to the funny, like...
Yes. And hey, Jace, baby, I'm sorry. How you doing, boo?
Hi, Jace. Where is Jace?
Huh?
I said, where is Jace?
Oh, he's working right now, child.
Oh, okay.
He's working. Getting those coins. You know, he has his own private chef business.
That's right. I think I'm following Jace on Instagram. I've seen his culinary skills. Very nice.
Make me hungry every time.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on those blueberry short ribs, honey.
Where is Jace located? Where? Is he
Texas.
in Florida too?
He's in
Texas. Okay.
Yeah,
it'll be nice if him and Devon can put their, like, maybe they should come together.
Who?
Him and Devon. No.
Child, I hate to say it, but Jace is confit. Like, he's petty. He's petty. And, you know, no offense to Devon, honey. No offense to Devon, but child, Jace be throwing the with her. Jace is an Iron Chef, honey. Like, that's how, for the girls that in the food circles that know what an Iron Chef is, Jace is an Iron Chef, honey. And, you know, Devon has, you know, his food looks good sometimes too, but, you know, Jace be throwing down, honey. Like,
okay, Chase. Fuck it up, honey.
Y'all better get into it, honey. Y'all better go follow his Instagram page, because, bitch, them blueberry short ribs, I be feeling like Homer Simpson, like, bitch, in the donut.
Look, he keep posting that shit. I'm gonna have to block his ass. I'm trying to tone it up. Okay, he gonna have my love handles not handling things like they should, posting that shit. Look, I'm a bitch who don't like. I don't window shop. I don't like doing none of that. Like, when I flee from temptation, bitch, I run. I run from temptation, bitch. Run. I don't even play with it.
Oh, and I believe Cat Williams is still one of the funniest comedians. I do, Rosalina.
Cat Williams is. I like Cat Williams.
I think he's fun. Now, when him like Martin Lawrence, when they have their little mental breakdowns, it almost seems as if it's hard to come back from those moments.
Yeah.
Especially when you speak truth to power, when you get up into that upper echelon, child, and you start being exposed to the fuckery that celebrity has to bring, and then you a real nigga at the end of the day, you go to telling it all on your stand-up specials. Next thing you know, you're a whole crackhead bitch. Right. Get ran over by taxis and shit.
Yeah. I think that's what it looked like when real niggas try to squeeze themselves back into inauthentic spaces. Like, kind of once you have that paradigm shift, you got to really jump island. I mean, it just does not quite really work after that. It's a total energetic incompatibility. Like, once your spirit has moved on, even if your body's willing, I mean, you can do it. But like you said, it translates like that. It never just quite feels the same. So
it's hard. even
Yeah.
for like on every level. We've seen it with actors. We've seen it with musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at Raz B.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, your favorite girl kind of bounced back. Well, she bounced all the way back at one
Mariah?
point. Yes, Miss
Mariah?
Mimi, honey, Miss
Well,
MC.
because
Yeah.
when you are, let me tell you her power. And I know we're just child and open up the floodgates. Let me tell you her power. Mimi's power is not only having Tommy Mottola's divorce money, hello God, that helps her a lot. She got over $400 million from that divorce alone. So, well, it was like 220 million, and then the rest of her, because her net worth is up there, honey. But the thing is with her, what makes her powerful is when you own your songs, when you write your songs, there's power in owning your own material. A lot of these girls didn't own a lot of their stuff, or they sold it off. That's why I was so mad hearing recently that Lil Wayne sold all of his masters.
Yeah,
like
I think he sold also Nicki Minaj's masters as well.
Why would you? That's your legacy. That's your bread and butter for you. That's your royalty for your
because Birdman didn't cough up his coin. Because like Birdman was owing Mr. Wayne like a large little piece of lump sum, nasty piece of lump sum, and I don't think that Birdman ever came through. So I guess Wayne doing what the fuck he got to do.
I just think it's just when you can be a poor bitch, and the same thing I tell people, you can be a poor ass bitch as long as you have some credit in your name, honey. You can always get a bust down. Hello, you can always get a bust down.
Well, let me ask you this question: what do you like? Looks like all these people be selling their souls because like they're trying to keep up with an unnecessary lifestyle. In my opinion, I don't understand this attraction to like high luxury things. I don't understand this attraction to like unnecessary accumulation of material shit. Like I don't understand this attraction to like multi-million-dollar house. Like now Nene Leakes is in a $1.82 million house, and now she's lacking on them checks. And now you having to pull shit out of your asshole in order to stay afloat, and got to beg Bravo, for glue wig again. And if we would be able to have generational wealth if we actually were smart with wealth and actually develop wealth. Because I think there's a difference between rich and wealthy. Like I think wealthy is more of a mentality, an intelligence about money, whereas in rich is just your literal status at the bank. Yeah. And you can have literal status at the bank and lose status at the bank if you ain't got no wisdom about the money that's in the bank that gives you your motherfucking status. But maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Let me tell you, I truly believe it, because the girls, they don't make up phrases like keeping up with the Joneses for no reason. That comes from experience. One of the things I loved about the show Schitt's Creek, I don't know if you ever had a chance to get into it.
I haven't.
It's a really good show. Like you will love that shit. It basically depicts a very rich and wealthy family who, by way of scamming and frauding in their company, not by way of them, so to speak, but their partners in the company. Come to find out, these people had to go basically live in backwoods territory, stretched away from the comforts of the life they were accustomed to living. And they had no choice but to kind of like face that reality and adapt and work through it. And little did they realize that they had more strength in themselves as family and than money. You know what I'm saying? Than the fortune they had. So once was last shall soon be first, and vice versa. But getting away from the society's standards for living. Nene Leakes, she has no choice because the girls in Atlanta are going to be talking. All her so-called friends are going to be talking about her misfortunes. So even when you're broke, she's probably balling off credit at this point instead of actual funds.
Yeah.
Look at Kim Zolciak, the girl. She had Big Papa forever because she did not want to go. She got a taste of that lifestyle. Society tells us, put you in the in crowd. And then if you no longer have that anymore, you're excommunicated from that faction. Welcome to reality. When we tear down those systems, when we learn to not give a fuck about what people say or think anymore, that's when we'll start to see a change in mentality. But is that going to happen anytime soon? it'll take a Titanic experience. Look at all those niggas, honey. They got brought down to reality real quick when they saw
Yeah.
cut in half, honey. Even Miss
Yeah.
Rose let Jack die, honey. Even though she could have saved him, you raggedy bitch. You could have saved Jack
Yeah.
Rose.
Do you think that Corona it can be a Titanic that can have that type of an impact?
I think it's already showing its ugly head. Why do you think, and this is just my belief, there's such an emphasis on backing big corporations, special interest groups that have put a lot of money into these presidencies and things of nature, right? Put a lot of money through the economy and shit, right? There's always stress for that. And we're seeing it. And we're going to keep seeing it because coronavirus is not going to let up. It's expanding. It's actually evolving into something more powerful as we're seeing around the world. And it's going to continue to threaten the economies of not just America, but the entire world. And when you see that happen, look at it was all about the rich and the opulent. They got broken down quickly by something that was very real and tragic, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And we see ourselves in that right now. Money doesn't matter right now. Only thing that money's going to get you right now is a little bit of extra water that I can't get at Publix. Hello, God, when the shit hits the fan, like when hurricanes come.
Right.
Get you certain things ahead of other people.
Yeah.
But when the world plunges into a true darkness, your money don't matter no more, bitch, because we all equal. We all going to be suffering.
Yeah.
That mighty dollar is going to come, the power of the dollar is going to come to a crushing end.
Absolutely.
Why do you think they're ushering Bitcoin so much right now? Now Bitcoin is about to be certified cash, certified funding. Child,
we all know that the new world order, that like currency is about to be digital as hell. So the American dollar, all motherfucking physical currency, is going to ultimately lose its value. I think everything we're going through is a breakdown to actually accomplish just that type of authoritarian government system, a global.
This is a pretext for what's to come.
It is.
We're seeing if we want to, link it to biblical situations, we're seeing the first seals cracking, bitch. Hello, God. And if we see the book of Revelation, that itself is a process. There's not a true timeline that it expounds on, but it's a process, it's a journey. So when we start seeing those seals cracking, child, all this shit that we hold near and dear is going to be null and void.
Would you be surprised if we actually go back to normal?
We won't. If we do, it'll just be just like the media creating illusions of comfortability. And that's what fucks us at the end, thinking that we're comfortable. If it wasn't for media outlets and things of that nature, would we really know what's going on in the world? Or would we think we know what's going on in the world? Yeah. Look at who's covering most of this news. How do we know any of it's real information? It could just be being fed to us because we're just that stupid.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Dion, hey. CC.
Dion said, do you agree that we are iconic? Are we iconic YouTubers yet?
You know what? I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. I don't feel like I've yet arrived. But hey, if y'all believe that, then thank you so much.
Well, I always think of a legendary as more so of a quality than an actual position.
Amen.
I receive it, Dion. Hi, captivating Christian.
What's up, Christian? How you doing?
So speaking of the end of the world and the fucking apocalypse, are you taking the vaccine? Like, what are your thoughts on the vaccination?
My thoughts on the vaccination are, bitch, please. I will not succumb to experiments. Y'all, I'm not no monkey. This is not Planet of the fucking Apes. This is not none of that shit. I don't want no parts of it. As long as, even if, and I keep asking myself, child, my faith will be tested if or when my job decides to say, girl, it's mandatory or you just lose. I guess I'm losing, girl, because I don't want to have to force against my livelihood versus my belief. And y'all, I'm not taking shit.
Yeah, because it's already being mandated in some workplaces and some hospitals and some elderly care facilities. That shit is nuts.
You have, my only thing is you've not, and I think I mentioned this on what's up, Social Jeff and Social Jeff. We've had a conversation about this on a live I did a while back. My issue with it is you have not done the necessary research and actual clinical studies for me to believe anything y'all got going on, because you did not take in, you didn't do mass studies with different types of people. Pregnant women were not included in that. A lot of body types, blood types were not included in that. People that have different ailments, like pre-existing conditions like asthma,
diabetes,
all of that, those people were not taken into consideration. So how do we know? We got to wait for a bit. Basically, you're the guinea pig. If you got diabetes, you're a guinea pig if you go take this vaccine. You don't know what's going to happen to you. So there's not enough data, in my opinion, to go on. You know what I'm saying? To even be considering a vaccine at this point. We don't
also,
know.
what's crazy is a lot of these companies have immunity, so that's also nobody to hold accountable. If your ass get Bell's palsy, your goddamn eyeball just like rolls off your cheek. If your ass turn blue, your ass die. Like literally, there's no compensation. There's no nothing. There's the general warning label is what it is, bitch. If you pick up these pack of Newports, bitch, and it gives you throat, ass, and nostril cancers, then
yeah,
that's the wishes.
Yeah, they don't.
That's the wishes.
And all of these, we're gonna take this vaccine publicly. No, bitch, I don't believe none of y'all. For all I know, y'all getting shot up with salt water, bitch, and not the same thing. So it's hard for me to trust anybody, the government especially. And based on a lot of the stuff you've been covering on your own channel lately, I'll be right there at work. Yeah, bitch, speak it, bitch, speak it, bitch. Where's Where's that bitch at? We still haven't found her.
I was just about to ask you, like, I don't think we got a chance to talk. Like, what do you think happened? Like, because she's still missing. There's still no.
That girl is dead.
She's dead.
That girl was paid off probably by the hospital that she worked for. Bitch, bury her somewhere, and we're gonna do this. Will be over. Let something more tragic in the world happen that'll take the spotlight off of this. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be known about the situation, because it's not like it's a story they're running.
Right.
And like,
but do you know that a lot of people who've been reporting on that story, like their channel's been getting taken down and everything, like videos been disappearing. Yeah, they've been trying to scrub the internet of the situation. It's like crazy out here. It's scary.
Whew. Christian Taylor, hello. Hot Boys of Houston, hello.
They said, don't forget about the little people, YB. When a bitch is like,
never that.
When an all-star lineup on Clubhouse, okay? Don't forget.
Never that, honey.
Speaking of Clubhouse,
I don't forget where I come from.
I don't either. Like, what's crazy about like what Dion said, like seeing two iconic YouTubers together, it's just that's the way this should be. Like, it should be nothing to do this. We would do this with anybody else. Like, I don't understand the disparity between larger YouTubers and smaller content creators at all. Like, I don't understand why some of our big time favorites can't come and do things like this.
Well, you know, after a while, ego, I think, takes a play in it. And I also feel like, too, I would rather collaborate with someone who I know is just always going to be real and be themselves, no matter what level of success they get, no matter what platforms they're on and things of that nature. If we just two real motherfuckers having a real conversation, child, at the end of the day, and we don't see none of that materialistic or looking at the numbers and things of that nature, what you can build with someone.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I've had the privilege of commingling with a lot of these so-called bigger content creators. Like, them hoes fake. It's like, when you just talked about the ego and shit, like, motherfuckers be really out for themselves. There is literally a lot of, like, elite attitude. Like, And that's why I don't even like. That's why y'all don't even see me with nobody. Like as you just said, I fuck with real people, and some of the most plastic, superficial, empty, void of any real fucking substance, like fugazi ass motherfuckers, are some of these people who have a lot of success on these social media streets. So, and it honestly has kind of killed my spirit a little bit, because I used to be somebody who wanted to have a lot of success on social media, but my issue is I know I have to exist and be a proximity to people who I know ain't about that life, and motherfuckers who ain't really about shit. And I don't want to be in them spaces. I don't want to be with those people. I don't want to talk to those people. I don't want to be grouped with those people. I don't want to do projects with those people. Like, none of it. It's just weird.
When you allow the ways of the world to conform you into something you know that deep down in your heart you're not, you're easily like betrayed of all the things that make you great. I got a problem with stuff like that. You know, peer pressure has never been a thing that I ever felt in my life like that. I've always been my own person, other than, you know, keeping my sexuality on the down low when I was younger. Other than that, we all went through that phase. That was like the only pressure that I had over my head like that. But everything else, I like walk my own path, child. Fuck these hoes, fuck these bitch ass niggas, fuck these crackers, fuck these haters, these racist bitches, fuck everyone who does not see it for me. And especially the people that don't know me, that don't see it for me, because how dare you judge me and you haven't even had a chance to have a conversation with me yet.
Yeah. Look, it's a lot of insecurity there too. Like, a lot of them are super threatened by smaller content creators. Like, they see what your influence and your potential can be, and therefore they will block backs, or they will refrain from saying your name, or they'll fuck with you privately, but don't want to openly put you on a project because they just don't need you leveling up like that. And if they put you on, that's why I had a lot of respect for T.S. Madison, because she was like one of the only content creators who I felt like really is about the community. And I know people like may have a lot to say about T.S. Madison, but one thing I think like maybe we can unanimously give her props for is she's always been willing to just kind of like put people on. Like, I remember when she put Duchess Kelly Love on, and at that time, like when she invited him to the Queen Supreme Court, he was only at like 1,000 fucking subscribers, but just because she liked him, he was there. Like, I'm only at 20K, and she done requested me several fucking times to be on the fucking bench. Like, she's just always been one of them bitches who was just like, if she sees value in what you do, then that's her only deciding factor. Like, it's not about if you don't have the same numbers or if you don't have the same hyper visibility as her. She doesn't really think in those like reciprocal ways. And that's something that like I really appreciate her for that. But I don't see that in a lot of other motherfuckers. At all. So when you guys see me at 100,000 subscribers, like, y'all gonna see me right here still doing us, talking shit, inviting motherfuckers to panels, sharing the wealth, sharing the glory.
Hello, God. And also too, like, I feel like especially in the spaces of LGBT Black YouTubers, like, there's not a lot of us. A lot of us don't get the representation that we, we require and desire. A lot of us don't, hold on. Cat's trying to come through, but I'm not
Cat's meowing in the background, honey. What's going on, Real Hot Boys of Houston? You right. We can create our own spaces for sure. For shizzle. What's going on, Lot Queen?
You just disappeared. Where you at?
That's that Boost Mobile, honey. That Boost Mobile be struggling to,
Hold on one second. Introducing the co-host, Cat's Meow.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, Cat.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are y'all?
Wonderful.
I'm good.
Where the hell you been? Is it
Around.
trade had you pent up?
No, nothing
Okay.
like that. No.
Okay. You
What
okay?
were y'all talking about? I'm okay. What were y'all talking
You look
about?
real. You've been doing something. I can see it here.
I
Oh,
have.
Tika Matrix.
You have. Okay. I'm gonna get in your business behind, like off when this goes off. I'm gonna get in your
Okay.
business.
Okay.
Okay. We was just talking about how bigger YouTubers are stingy with the cootie cat, and a lot of bitches like don't be wanting to collaborate or extend opportunities like the people just because they may be like on a smaller level, and how that's just really dumb as hell.
Yeah, I mean, people let fame get to their heads, so it's unfortunate. So one of my prayers has always been to just for me to always know where humility lies and know where I come from, and to know that I'm not untouchable. I'm a person just like the people who like me.
What they call that humility, because that's what the fuck humility is.
I told him when I
Yeah.
right after the Justice League started forming and everything, and I reached out to him to collaborate with us to do some Dallas interviews that we were doing. And I was so scared because I've been watching him for a while, and I feel like he was so much bigger than myself. I never wanted to like reach out because coming into the YouTube streets, they teach you etiquette, certain etiquette, and when you see the girls doing their thing, like it's kind of child. You don't want to mess with them because they don't, you know, they may not fuck with you like that or whatever. So he responded back the same day and was very
Because
happy.
I'm not that person at all. I'm not that person at all. Like me not collaborating with people is just an energy thing. Like I don't want to get caught up in that whirlwind of fame or I'm bigger than other people and then the drama of it all and then I'm on goddamn Zoe's Messy Monday. I don't want that. I want longevity in whatever I decide to do. So yeah, I'm very approachable if you approach me correctly.
Yeah.
Which I
Do
did.
you think
I was scared. I came like, hey, this is hello me. Yes, bitch, honey. I know you don't know me like that. You know.
Do y'all think that like money and fame actually changes people? Like when we think about the people who we feel have changed because of the cloud of it all and the fame of it all, like, because I think that those people felt like they would never change too, and then boom, like success happened. But do you think that already has to be in you, or do you think you can become
money exploits the person you already are? Fame and fortune only amplify what's already in your spirit. If you're a kind-natured person, as you grow and as you become more successful and more financially stable or whatever, you'll just expand on your kindness and your compassion. But if deep down inside you one of those niggas like a Mike Jones, back then y'all didn't want me, now I'm hot. When you out here celebrating that kind of shit, that means that you weren't shit before. You just ain't shit now, but you just got money now. You have power now. And I think those people end up abusing that. They end up going to fuck the pretty models they couldn't fuck before. They end up shitting on the niggas that shit on them before. And then they want to know why their situation doesn't last that long because you went into it with pure intentions.
So it's revenge day.
Now, girl.
I think I don't think money changes people. I think money changes the situation and the situation changes people. Because when you have money, you're in circles that you weren't in before. You're around people that you weren't around before. And you respect their opinion because you respect these people. Like you looked up to them for so long. And when they tell you, you need to cut these people off because they don't support where you are now, or you need to cut this habit off, or whatever it is. I think influence and just wanting that power. And then once you understand the power that comes with the money and the fame and the popularity, that too will change you. I mean, look at people who are just popular in high school. They went from being like regular old elementary school kids to being like the worst bitches we would ever meet in high school because they recognize
the power of their influence.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I feel like a lot of times these bitches, they get up there, honey. They get their little grandiose attitudes and shit, and it's just like, girl, you better look
Yeah.
back on who you were, who propped you up, who was a supporter of yours in the beginning, and never forget those people. Because if you do get into those spaces that you just talked about,
Yeah.
what's to say those influences? You know, like you don't want to
Mhm.
be influenced to go down the wrong path. We see a lot of rappers like Meek Mill, for instance. I'll just throw his name out there. You a
Mhm.
hood nigga, you was a hood nigga, street nigga. You get the famous success, and then you talk about so much about how you have to leave the hood, you have to leave this, and you realize through a rich experience now that people want to kill you because you've become successful. People want to do you harm and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
I feel like from the get go, you should have that in your head. Like when I do get up there, I'm not going to change my morality or my ethics. I'll just change my surroundings. And through that, there's a lot of crab in a barrel mentality too. Just because you get successful, you may not have changed, but people outside like, ooh, because they're hateration, because they're not happy to see you successful. They wonder, why not me? Why not me? Bitch, not you because God didn't call your number yet. But if
Mhm.
you support the situation, amen, ain't no telling what you'll
Amen.
get to.
Yeah.
But with the
Absolutely.
why not me attitude, I'm sorry to cut you off, conscious, but with the why not me
You
attitude,
good.
I'm like, everybody's not meant to be the star. What if you are meant to be my manager, my accountant, my assistant? Like, this is your moment. Like, don't cry out, why not me? Because you want to be in my position with all these staffers and all this team.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Mhm.
you don't have to be the star. What if your job, your destiny is to play the background and make
Yeah.
sure that the machine runs correctly? And I also think keeping people around you. Both of our favorite singers, both Beyonce and Mariah, well, not my favorite singer, but well, Beyonce, Mariah, and Brandy all have people around them now that they started with. And every time they tried to change teams, things got tricky. As soon as Beyonce fired her dad for a leak, the first album, the first and only album ever to leak,
Yeah.
you have to keep your circle tight. You really do. And you have to just understand that everybody ain't got your best interest just because they say they do.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when you get up to those levels, don't think that you're bigger than the people that you started with. Bring them up too if they're able to elevate. Some people can only go to a certain level. They can't handle the high climate. They can't breathe up there.
Yeah.
And two, heavy is the head that wears the crown, honey. Like you said too, to your point, like, do you want? Not everyone is meant for the same stresses. Some people don't know what the star goes through so much stress, but by you just playing the background, you don't have to put up with all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of stuff. And be careful what you ask for, because you might get it, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think that like what y'all both said kind of tied into each other because earlier, yes, bitch, you said something. I forgot what the fuck you said, but that whole, I think one of the reasons why people don't feel comfortable playing anything other than front runner is because we as a society don't ever glorify or glamorize any other position other than the front running position. So people always feel like it means nothing to be in the background or it means nothing to be positioned somewhere else on the chessboard. But you just have to have enough fucking maturity. Because I always tell people, some people were made in the basic image of God, and that's okay.
Mm.
Like, stay in your basic lane with your basic ass, and it's okay. Like, sometimes the stress of your life is like you just said, some people are trying to become what they can't. You're not ordained or anointed. It will never happen for you
Right.
in that way. And the stress of your life, all the stress in your life is coming because you're trying to fit a square, you're trying to fit a circle into a fucking square. Sometimes you have to accept that you are a square, and that's actually okay, and it has to be invaluable to you. So I feel like I do watch a lot of people like reach for things that is out of reach, and it's because they're meant to be somewhere else on the chessboard, and they just have to accept that. Because if they don't, then it'll just continue to create strife That's unnecessary. So, but that is hard to do in a society that is so transactional and reward based. And because like even my grandmother, like God bless her heart, bad bitch, sweetest woman I know, but she measures success very materialistically. Like her version of like she equates happiness to like we need to be like rich and wealthy as hell. And I'm like, Grandma, I could live in a fucking tent, honestly, and be fucking happy because my personal agenda in life is just really to be myself fully. I really don't give a fuck about none of the rest of it. Like I just want to know what I am and be whatever the fuck that actually is. And my life is kind of spiritual in that way. But my grandma, she's like, no, honey, like, you know, you need 100K in the bank and you need, you know, like a ton of fucking degrees under your ass and you need to like da 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 da. And I don't know whether it's because of the generation she come from where niggas had to really be about their survival and had to really create a blueprint for themselves and, you know, had to really secure the bag. But just like, girl, I'm a fucking hippie. I just give me my clothes and my hair and I'm all right. Like I'm all right with the rest of it. But
Right.
that's just me.
It's kind of like what I was talking about yesterday when I was talking about this social conditioning that just you have to work. You have to come out here, you have to work.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when do people have time to work on them and work on the things that they find important? You know what I'm saying? Their dreams, their aspirations. When do they want to beat us into this submission? Because I thought about it. They need the workers. If everyone followed their dreams, right, there would be no one in the workforce to push this sorry ass economy, this sorry ass nation. And I think that's why do you think they put a minimum on minimum wage? They don't want you to make so much to where you can take vacations and live your life and fund a dream or whatever the case may be. They don't want you to. They don't want you to be part of their 1%. Because who's going to do all of the hard labor out here in the world?
Yeah, who's going to be the worker bees?
And that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Even with the lottery, I played the lottery and I'm just like, girl, it's a 1 in a trillion chance a bitch is going to actually hit that motherfucker. But when you think about it, they dangle that fruit in front of your hungry ass. And you end up, when you think about it over the lifetime of someone, when I look at my old foster grandma, that bitch used to every week, she was dropping about $100, $200 on the motherfucking on the Powerballs and shit like that. And I'm just like, girl, do you think over how long you been doing this? 20 years. So that's $200 a week for 20 years. Your lottery has already been came and gone, honey.
Correct.
Yes. That's like, hey girl, we're here for you, and you never attain. Even Publishers Clearinghouse. Yeah. You know how many times I would enter every day on the app that they have for Publishers Clearinghouse?
For that $10,000 a day or something like that? Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to win, girl, and bitch, no, I never did. Some of these people have been playing for years and still have never won. Or they finally win when they're like 100 years old. Bitch, I can't enjoy my money now. My knees are bad. I'm coughing up fucking chalk smoke.
But you can buy new knees, nah.
Child, 100 years from now, bitch, I'm gonna be in a fucking jetpack, girl.
I'm not a jetpack.
On a jetpack. Just lifted, honey. My knees ain't gonna have to work no more.
But what society fails to realize is everybody's dreams are different. Some people's dream is just to be a damn good mom. You know, like, and they're okay with working a job and, you know, just living an average life. They just want to be happy. You know, everybody's happiness looks different. Not everybody wants to be a star. Some people don't even have the confidence or the motivation for something like that. That takes a lot of confidence to be famous and to put yourself out there in front of millions of people. That takes a lot, and everybody doesn't want that. And the only people that really just want it now are the people who think it's just a fast, easy come up to riches. Mm-hmm. Nobody really wants to put in the work. These people were not kids saying, I wanted to be a singer, a rapper, an actor. You know, influencer was not even a thing back then. What the fuck is an influencer? Like, every public figure is an influencer. If you really think about it.
That's what I used to hate about, I loved it, but I also hated it when I got older. I look back on some of the shows I used to watch, like The Fabulous Life of, or when we used to watch MTV Cribs. And I'm just like, girl, and then kind of find out years later, half that shit wasn't really y'all's. You know what I'm saying? So we aspire to be the things that we see they dangle in front of us on TV. Like a lot of niggas want to be rappers because they see how rappers live. You know, but they looking at the successful rapper. There's a difference. You could be a great rapper, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember the Fabulous Life of, and they used to always. I remember they would always go to Lorraine Schwartz's store, and she would talk about who she bedazzles, but nobody knows that shit is rented. She insures her jewelry to them for whatever event, and they got to get that shit back to her about like weeks in. Like they don't own any of that. I guess they just tell you the monetary value of it, but they don't own any of that.
Oh yeah,
that's what it's about. It's about selling you a dream.
Absolutely.
And the key to Rosalina, that's how I was introduced to what's that girl name? She's a wonderful artist now though.
Tiana Taylor.
Yes, honey. On her Super 2016, she was a bitch. I think she had 2 of them, didn't she?
Okay.
And that was weird because she was famous. That was her claim to fame. Before she was Tiana Taylor, the first thing we saw was my Super Sweet 16. And it was just like, how are y'all rich in the first place?
Well, I think her dad was in the music industry, right? Because remember, the Super Sweet 16s are only for like the wealthy kids, you know. But I think her dad was in the music industry. I believe. Because
I think the party was like $50,000 or something like that. Because Reggie had one. I think Reggie had one.
Who?
Reggie, Lil Wayne's daughter.
Oh, I remember that one too. Didn't she have one?
Yeah, she had one too. Yeah,
I think she had one.
That's when they wanted to throw some color in there. Because remember, it was only those rich Jewish bitches. No, I'm not you know, I love the Jews child, but I'm just saying though. They had mitzvahs and shit, bar mitzvahs and all that kind of shit. Those rich Jewish children, honey. They were like, let's throw some color.
Bar mitzvah for a man and bar mitzvah for a woman, I think.
Who?
I think it's bar mitzvah for a man and bar mitzvah for a woman.
Mitzvah.
Diddy's son had one too. Yeah.
Which one of they finances?
It was the light skinned one, I think. Like when he was a teenager, like the one with the little curly. But I don't know where he got down. But
was it? I don't even know. I'm not gonna act like I know their names. I just know what they look like.
He got a bunch of fucking churn.
He do have a lot of kids. I didn't even realize that until King Combs, the youngest one, posted some pictures on their birthday on Instagram. You know, I followed him on Instagram, child.
Mm-hmm.
He is so cute to me. He sounds just like his daddy, child. I got his album. It's actually good.
And who is this?
King Combs. Diddy's youngest son. Kim Porter's
youngest son.
Rest in peace, child.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell them people is.
His album is he's a good little rapper. I like him. Got a little swag.
I only know the light skin.
He did a song with Tiana Taylor, did he not?
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, he did, child. Mm-hmm.
Girl, it must be nice, honey, to be born with a little nasty piece of silver spoon in your mouth, honey.
I'm just saying, though, right? I wish. That was so nice coming up, honey. Have my servants and the girls, honey. Just like
I'm so glad that it wasn't me though, because I know I would have been a raging bitch if I would have been born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Like I just know it. Because I don't feel like. Okay, no. So when I was younger, like I was naturally a nice, quiet kid, but I don't know. I just feel like I just would have got caught up. I just feel it. I just feel like I would have been a part of the Mean Girls Club. I just feel like I just would have been one of them hoes, like in those like white, corny movies with like Mean Girls, like that whole clique, Santa's clique. Yeah, like the Regina clique. Like that
I think we all would have had our moments. I think, I mean, as teenagers being rich, I think we all would have had our Mean Girl moment.
Hell yeah.
But I think I would be really charitable. I would definitely have a fashion line out by now.
Absolutely. I would have been one rich bitch. Oh my God. I would have been a Paris Hilton ass kind of a bitch. Did y'all watch her little like documentary thing? That shit was like really dope. Like I feel like what the
I
fuck?
did.
Like, you didn't?
I did. I knew.
Oh,
I
you
thought it
did?
was weird that every time she had a boyfriend, she had to get a new MacBook. That guy that she took to the festival where she had to like cuss him out. Like I thought that was really weird. But I was so glad to see that. Like
Yeah.
she gets mad. You know, she's a human. She was like, "Fuck him. Take his wristband." Like fuck that.
I feel like it was so shocking because everything I thought Paris Hilton was completely like washed.
The boarding school creeped me out. Like that I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah.
The boarding school situation.
Yeah.
I never knew that even took place.
I felt so bad for her when she said that she still to this day has nightmares about that time in her life, because anybody who suffers from PTSD know how long the effects of trauma can exist and long after the actual experience is. So
I hated how far removed the mom was. When she found out, she was like, "Oh, I never knew that." And I'm like, it still doesn't even seem like you care this many years later. Like, and then the way she was taken, like in the middle of the night, they just kind of snatched her. It was just that was horrible.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this question then. So speaking of like her parents putting her ass on giving her ass a personal quarantine, what do y'all think parents should do? You have a rebellious ass teenager, not listening, not going to school, like breaking the rules in your house. Like what? Like, because a part of me was like, well, I don't know what your parents could have done. That I don't know what they could have done other than what they did in a way.
Well, for starters, let's go to the drawing board. What did we do wrong to create this monster? Because obviously we didn't do something right. Because Nikki is the same way. You know, Nikki's a totally different person. And I understand that kids grow up to be their own people, but goddamn, you know, maybe we should have put tougher restrictions on her. She was a minor smoking cigarettes and going out. Why did we not know this? Like at some point, you can't depend on babysitters and security guards to raise your kids.
Yeah.
And that just
I work in a place where you have a lot of affluent adolescents that come, and the issues that they have, I can't speak on a lot of that shit, but the issues that most of them suffer from is how they treat their parents and things of that nature. And it goes back to, I hate to say, these people that have money, you can't expect, like you just said, these people to raise your kids, your nannies and things of that nature, and you just want to push your kids off or get them away from you, not realizing that has an adverse effect on them, because kids need a mother's love. They need a father's, love. They need that to keep them in. And I know that I don't have much to offer in this because I was raised in foster care, but that is the reason why I'm going to say this. I know people look like Eric, you always say this shit. But it says something for someone who didn't have parental figures to actually think that fucking way. To actually give you those standards, bitch. Because, girl, the kids of the future, and if you don't fucking step on their asses now and whip those motherfuckers into shape, you're going to be breeding some psychopathic, raggedy bitches who are going to be left to fend for themselves in a world that does not see it for them. Yeah. If you don't sit them down and just be real with them, sometimes we're too busy being friends and shit. Fuck being friends. You are the authority figure in their life, and you are the thing that you're the one at the end of the day, no matter how many bitches they kill, no matter what they do with their life, you are going to love them regardless of even how the world discards them or feels about them. So beat that shit into their motherfucking ass. You have to do something. Stop being so scared. DCF don't want your children, bitch. They got enough kids to take care of, enough as it is right now, honey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Deal with your household and see for yourself. And a lot of times we got these parents that they're bringing traumas into their adulthood, and now that's bleeding off into their children now. You gotta be able to sit back and recognize when it's time to shed yourself, go seek out therapy to deal with your issues. Because now you're parenting a child, and you weren't even parented. You still suffer from trauma and things. You're yelling at your kids, or like we talked about a couple of Yes God Roundtables ago, whenever that was. You got these kids that are on Facebook recording them cussing their moms out and crying because they've opened up to tell them how many of their boyfriends throughout history have molested them. Now she's an adult screaming to you because she has kids now, and she's now bearing all her trauma to you. And then all the parents have to say is, "Child, well, it is what it is." What? So obviously, these people, a lot of these people, this generation, the one before us, and the one after our asses, needs to learn. Let that shit go. Start talking to somebody. And we as
You know what's
black
so
people,
funny?
that therapy is something that's of witchcraft, that's of the devil, that's of there's no bitch. If you want sanity, if you want some semblance of what they call a normalcy, bitch, you're gonna have to take a deep breath, yang yang gang king that shit, and get your life together. For your kids are gonna resent the fuck out of your ass, bitch, and that's gonna be
You
a
know what's so
perpetual
funny?
over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
I was gonna touch on that. Like, it is secular, and what's interesting is that, like, what you really just described is the fact that sometimes a lot of these children, their own worst enemy are their actual parents, because you have the issue of the parents being traumatized and having a heavy pain body themselves. So no, I can't listen to you tell me that my man molested you, because for one, that parent. So first of all, hold on, let me just establish this first. Healing and being a healer is an art form. You have to have you have to practice a certain level of mindfulness and tact and sensitivity in order to be successful at listening and receiving and then executing. Prime example of this: I have a friend who something really embarrassing happened to him when he was younger, and he recorded himself. He was like a teenager at this time. He recorded himself doing some sexual things, and his mom got the video. And when she found the video, she like confronted him. Huh?
Okay. I thought you were talking about Rashida from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Oh no, this is a personal friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is personal friend. And so she like, oh, I do remember that situation that you're talking about. But she caught him like in the room, confronted him, made this big old thing, and then she made it like about her, which like re-wounded him. And then like the way she confronted him, like she brought like the rest of his siblings into the room while the video was still playing on her TV. And everything about the way she dealt with that moment, like just furthered the trauma off of the heels of already being humiliated, because this footage was discovered by your parent. So now like I've been like talking with him and working him through that shame and that humiliation by first and foremost like affirming to him that as a human being, you have a right to your total sense of privacy, and whatever you do within the privacy of yourself or of your home, literally like it's without discretion and judgment, because that privacy is reserved for those things that you don't want other people to have access to. And you have a right to have things in your life that you don't allow people to have access to. Like something as simple as me washing my body naked in the shower, that's a natural feat. Do I want all you motherfuckers seeing that? No.
Right.
And I have a right to not shine a camera on that, or to not exploit that any further. So just letting him know that you have a right to your privacy, for one, is whatever. And that young people explore their sexuality in so many different ways. Like as young people, like we played house. Sometimes you were playing house with your own fucking cousins. Like you can develop shame around these type of things, but you also have to be clear and real about the fact that the first society ever given to you is your family. Sometimes a lot of weird things happen because the first society you have access to is your own people. So lots of people have played house with their cousins. Lots of people have had those ancestral exchanges, maybe in innocence and naivety, nothing that was really deep. But he has like all that going on. And then the fact that his mom just like dug her foot into his ass was also so out of order, because as a parent, like one of the things that she said to him was, who touched you. Ironically, my friend had been touched. That's why she was able to say, or look at that expression, the manifestation of his sexuality, and be like, this is not, I know what place this comes from. But then, because like she hasn't healed that shit up in herself, she just went straight to like, you know, throwing the religious shit on him and just kind of being emotionally unavailable and just kind of creating this atmosphere that he disappointed her, which were all inappropriate responses. Because what you saw your son do actually is not about you at all. And if you wanted to support him and understand him and create like a healthy space, the way you would have had to do that was by making this about him, letting him know that it's okay, letting him know that he can talk to you, that it's okay to have a sexuality. It's okay if he have questions about his sexuality. It's okay if he has a desire to express his sexuality, and that you would like to help him understand how to relate to himself versus leaving him on his own to do stuff like this. Because the reason why he's doing stuff like this is because we're not having conversations with our young people when we should be having them. We're not talking to them about sex. We're not talking to them about their bodies. We're not talking to them about love. Like, I remember growing up, I was a super fucking empath. Me falling in love damn near killed me, because when my relationship was over, bitch, like, I turned into the fucking Dark Phoenix. And it was weird growing up, because I thought, as powerful of an experience as love is, I can't believe nobody talked to me about love. I can't believe nobody talked to me and taught me about these powerful emotions. I can't believe nobody sat down and said, or just offered any information about emotions and about how overwhelming and powerful your emotions can be, especially when you are in love, and what the dark side of being in love can look like as well, which is why a lot of bitches kill motherfuckers in a, like, what they call it, a crime of passion, a heat of passion, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, we do all type of shit. So, you know, that communicating, like, being mindful, not
that's what we were talking about before. When you speak about, you know, past traumas and things, a lot of these parents opening up and showing signs of emotion, a lot of times is looked at as weakness, especially in the Black community. Even amongst fathers and sons, like, you got a lot of daughters, vice, all of that shit cross into each other. You're not raised to be open with instead of your parent, you look at them as an authority figure instead of the parent. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing that parenting comes with hearing some things your children have experienced, or they might have questions to, not shying them away and saying that's grown folks conversation. No, bitch. If your child is bringing up sexual situations or just something period that has to do, that may be something you might want to shy away from, you need to, instead of shy away from, you need to embrace that, because you don't know, your child is coming to you about love. Let's say a little girl, for instance, goes to her mother about asking questions about a boyfriend or whatever. Take that opportunity to have a real in-depth discussion with your daughter, because you don't know what she's going through in her real life. School is very pressured. There might be a boy at school pressuring her for sex. You may never know that. That's why she's asking you about these things, because she's not going to be fully expressive of what her situation may really be. You know what I'm saying? She just is looking for some type of advice or some guidance. So instead of giving her that, you call her, girl, you better not be out here being fast. You better not be out here just making you look like a hoe and all this kind of shit. No, she don't want to know that. She needs a real educational, real experience. She needs her mother at this point. The same thing for dads. Y'all get so, as long as you don't bring a bitch pregnant, that's fucked up too. No, talk to your son about sex and having healthy relationships with women. That way we're not breeding these fuck niggas that come out here and just ruin these girls' lives.
Amen to that.
And speaking on that real quick, I do want to go to a question that Dion had, because I find that interesting. I can't really speak to this because I don't have a father. Bitch, okay? So I just think he says, is it weird for a father to show love to his children, more specifically his son? Do y'all believe that if that affects the child differently, whether a father tells the son he loves him or not?
I'll let Kesmia answer that first.
It does have an effect. My dad didn't really take to me when I was younger because he knew. I think he knew that I was gay before he knew. And I had a cousin to come live with us, and he was a straight guy, and he was into sports and cars, and him and my dad bonded perfectly. And for the longest, I just felt like my dad didn't like me. And when I told my dad that, he was just like, "What? Like I know." But once I broke it down to him, he was like, "Wow, I never saw it that way." So yeah, it's very important for men to show affection to their sons. Um, it's your seed. It's your child. I don't unless you are just a sick in the head individual. Like there's nothing wrong or ancestral about that. I think it's supposed to happen. You know, boys kiss their moms and girls kiss their moms up until their adult years, and nobody sees a problem with that. It's only with the with the man, and I think that's just society. Just like with the whole like stay in the child's place situation, I feel like yeah, a child should stay in a child's place, but what y'all do is as parents, um, tell the child to stay in the child's place until 18 and then just expect them to just know how to be an adult. And it's just like, so where was the in between time where you actually taught me how to navigate in this world as somebody who is sexually active or somebody who is curious or somebody who is growing up? Like that conversation doesn't happen. Financial literacy does not happen. Um, because you still want us to be in a child's place. So not only when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to finances and just domestication, y'all just want to keep us sheltered until it's time to move out. And y'all wonder why these kids don't know how to live or be adults. They will never talk.
Absolutely. I completely agree with everything Kat just said. And I also add to that, like I was so proud of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's approach to their trans daughters' experience, because that was something that was kind of unprecedented, especially within the Black community. One of the biggest differences that I noticed between the way that white people tend to approach their children and Black people tend to approach their children is I think white people accept that they're raising adults, not raising children. And Black people accept that they're raising children, and then that handicaps them from effectively, as Kat just said, like actually educating, and you just said, YB, like actually educating your children and having those conversations, because the truth is, you are raising an adult. And once this child makes it through a short-lived adolescent period, this is going to be an adult for the rest. They're going to be an adult for the rest of their life. Childhood is a one-time scenario. So I think that there maybe is a balance, maybe in between both of those truths. Like there's a way to also give your children healthy childhoods, but also keep in mind that you are raising them to be equipped for the world and everything that comes with that. And to not shy away from having uncomfortable conversations and making yourself emotionally available to them in uncomfortable ways, because at the end of the day, your children do need you and they need your guidance. And if you shook and scared of preparing them for that, then you are directly contributing to their lack of preparation for love, for relationships, for that financial literacy, for independence, for all of that shit. And I also think that when it comes to the whole dad scenario, it's the way that men relate to other men can have a detrimental impact on a male psyche, especially within a patriarchy, because as a man, if you don't make yourself, a lot of the reasons why a lot of the, especially our men, like our Black men, are out here like attracted to gangs and attracted to a lot of that type of like raunchy brotherhood and violent brotherhood is because, first of all, they're attempting to fill a hole and align themselves with some sense of masculinity. But because the masculinity that ends up being available is a wounded masculinity, then there's like a toxic masculinity that they get conditioned and programmed to further function in. So one of the things that you learn from a healthy father figure who's affectionate with you, who kisses and hugs you, who affirms his love for you, who takes his time to be present in your life, is you learn how to be brothers with other men instead of opponents. You learn how to see yourself and other men. You learn how to actually love other men. rather than look at them as, like I said, opponents, or to have that competitive edge. And it also just stunts your own like emotional availability when it comes to your own children and women, like, because it's not just children who suffer. Like, women have a big issue with men because of the way that patriarchy lacks in really informing men, because men are out of touch with their feminine. Women kind of naturally are more fluid between their masculine and feminine, but men are completely out of touch, and this makes them sucky lovers, makes them sucky parental figures a lot of times. And I just feel like it's important for men to be not only present in men and young boys' life, but women's life too, because one of the other functions that masculinity and femininity plays is we're all emotional beings. We all have emotions. Men and women have emotions. What the masculine principle is supposed to teach you is how to divorce your emotions when they become toxic for you. How to implement routine and strategy. So if you have an over emotional young woman, in like, if you're raising a very emotional girl, like she's very emotional, very sensitive, she needs to be around her brothers. She needs to be around her father, because she needs to learn how to tap the fuck out of her feelings. She needs to learn how to will herself forward without the use of her emotions all the time. If you have a young boy who is out of touch with his femininity, he's cold, he's emotionless, he's robotic, he's rough, rough-handed, just not aware. He needs to be around a lot of women. He needs to be nurtured by women to balance him out, to make him more mindful and sensitive and meticulous and observant in his behavior. So when we say we need two-parent households, or we need a mom and dad, even if you don't have literally the sex, like female and male, you just need to be raised by somebody who is in touch with both their masculinity and femininity, because that can be of great use. I know for me, I didn't have my biological father in my life, and my stepdad, he was in my life, but he was like toxic and broken and cheating on my mom and on drugs and an alcoholic and a cokehead. So he essentially wasn't really there, even though his body was there. And so my mom was on her own. This then made my mom emotionally unavailable, because she was so stressed raising us, and she was so stressed being married to my father, that it really left her to default to just being a provider. She didn't really have anything left outside of just making sure that she paid the bills, kept clothes on our backs, and I love her for that. But she was so stressed out internally, and she guarded herself as a result. By her being emotionally unfucking available, and me being a fucking two-spirited man, aka gay, then I'm empathic as fuck. I had a lot of raging fucking emotions, and there was no guidance. So I was like spiraling as a teenager. Like, I just had feelings, and there was no masculinity in my life, and all this emotionality was like literally destroying me, driving me to like suicide, driving me to like profound senses of unhappiness. Like, I was so stressed having emotions that at some point, like, I just didn't want to fucking live, because just feeling was way too fucking much for me. A lot of that could have been curved had I had healthy masculine energy in my life to teach me how to overcome myself, how to separate from my emotions. So femininity and masculinity in general, you know, we need to close that gap and speak more on that. And to men, like in the Black community, we definitely need to get rid of a lot of the homophobia undertones that really make fathers distant from their sons. Like, kiss your son, hug your son, tell your son he's the best thing that's ever fucking happened to you. Let him know that he's beautifully and wonderfully made. Like, sit at his bedside, make yourself available to him in every which way. Give him the revelations and the wisdoms from your own life experience. Like, your sons need that. And if our men don't get access to that, they're going to continue to be out here killing each other. They're going to be out here continuing to beat the hell out of women. They're going to be out here completely out of touch and narcissistic as hell. And they're going to be like reptilian in that way. So
I remember seeing this thing sometime, I believe it was a couple months ago. There was this Black dad, and I guess his son was grown. Was he grown or like a teenager or something like that? And they were laying in the bed. not in no like sexual way or nothing like that, but just like a father being there for his son. And I forget exactly the situation, but social media was trying to light this man on fire and say that he was just that they need to call the people because there may be some molestation. I'm like, bitch, and nowhere did you see the signs of there being. He was just loving his son. I think his son was like sitting in his arms or something like that. And it's
We
just like
talked about that on a gentleman's panel. His son was laying on his chest.
yeah, something like that, right? And it was like this big old thing, and I'm just like, why are people? So that's the problem. The fact that we perceive it as an issue, a father actually loving his child and supporting his child and being there for his son, especially a black man. The fact that we look at that as such a problem lets us know that, bitch, we have issues, girl. We have issues that are deeper than anybody could ever think of fathom, bitch. Because that's a problem. We're the problem.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the root of that is the homophobia undertone. Because there's still the subconscious idea that you can transfer the gay. And so, as a man, we don't encourage men to be too affectionate with other men because that somehow may make them more effeminate, or that may make them somehow homosexual. And like, we don't even realize how much homophobia really impacts the way we even create families and what we keep away from men as a result of these fucking ideas. Because homophobia just doesn't impact homosexuals, as we're talking about here. Homosexuality,
I believe it impacts the hetero community way more.
Yes.
And it breeds out into these big ass situations. It's a snowball effect that really, it's not a thing. The same thing they think the gay agenda is a thing. It's not a thing. It's all about fucking love, bitch, and respect and acceptance. It's just that easy. But the fact that there's so much war about these issues continues to let us know that, bitch, we're on a slow fall to hell. Be prepared. Hello, God. Because this world is coming to a goddamn end. So if you can't love your own fucking child without fear of being called a faggot or this is some incestual bullshit, that's a problem. We need to fix that. And it's not us that started that. I don't like to put everything on the white man, but bitch, that's on them. They created that scenario. That's why there's so much doubt within our community. Child. And for these men out here, love your sons, bitch. Because again, if you don't, imagine the life that these men are going to take on as they travel through this world. They're going to be treating women like shit. They're going to be out here doing the mothers too. They say the mother is the first woman a son will love, and a father is the first man a daughter will love. Bitch, you better lead by example, because you're sending potential prostitutes out here in the world, crack bitches out here in the world. You're sending your children out to the slaughter, honey, and not even realizing it. And just because you had a fucked up bringing up does not mean that you deserve to put that on your children. And you can still learn how to be a parent while you have kids, while you're raising kids. That's why I hate the fact that they're taking Ayanna Fixing Lives off the air. I find that fucked up, because if you ever notice when there's a black positive space that's actually cracking through these moments that we need to really be expounding on, they want to take it away from us. They want to take it away. Meanwhile, Dr. Phil is still here.
Well, speaking of that, like, did you read? I think there was some type of a letter or response that came out, like, where Iyanla, I guess, was expressing that, like, one of the reasons why she's quitting is because of the criticism that she gets. I guess because, like, a lot of people who come on her show leave disgruntled, like Shay, Keisha Cole's sister, like, they leave the show talking shit, slandering the process or whatever. Like, what are y'all thoughts? Like,
them too are still hurt bitches. You brought up a whole line of people who have been hurt since they were children. Keisha Cole, we saw her whole fucked up life and childhood play out before us, child, on the goddamn reality TV show. Shay Johnson, you could just tell how she runs through these niggas like they're fucking purses, bitch. You obviously have some type of issues and trauma that you have yet to, deal with, bitch. So all of these people, even fucking what's her name? Crazy ass Toni Braxton's sister. You have all of these issues. Like, you don't want to face the bitch in the mirror. And Ayanna was sent by the heavens to expose your truth and who you are, and you hate her for that. because she's doing something again in the Black community that we frown upon. We've been socially conditioned to look down upon exposing our feelings and really being honest with ourselves. We're so busy having to put on this armor to face this fucked up world and society that we're not really taking the time to look within. And when we have people like Iana that does not give a fuck, who will drag your ass for filth because it's what you need in order to see who you really are at the end of the day. When you peel back the facades of a lot of these people, and a facade isn't just for celebrities and rich people, it's for people like us too, normal daily living bitches. When you peel back those layers, sometimes it can be offensive. You're offended by the truth. And those hoes can be mad all day long, but Iana was always right in my opinion. I never really watched too much of the show, but the stuff that I did see, I was like, yes, girl. Sometimes you need that in your life. She's the mother a lot of us needed. Because she's going to put you out there and let you know that, bitch, what you think is right is really wrong. And you have to stop that way of thinking. Look at all these broken-ass people. You think that's just the main stage? No, there's many, many more. Many, many more. And unfortunately, those little stunts, they don't really do much for the long term. But I appreciate the exposure. I appreciate exploiting these people's truth because they're being forced to see who they really are at the end of the day. And sometimes that's the devil in itself. And it goes.
Well, they don't call it the
They
don't call it the ugly truth for no reason. It's called the ugly truth for a reason.
Sure.
Don't get mad at that lady for coming through and going above and beyond to help you heal. Because you're a broken individual, because you don't know how to treat people in this world. You're on there for a reason. And if some of your spirit said to accept that contract, amen, for a reason. You don't walk into a doctor and then decide to just turn around and leave. No, you walk in there because you feel like there's a reason to go to the doctor. There's a reason to step into getting your tarot reading. There's a reason that you stepped into the place of the house of the Lord. You know, there's a reason when you go to certain situations. Because you felt like, you know what, yes, other than the fact it's TV, you said, I need to be here. So sometimes we need to learn to shut the fuck up and just walk through the process because you never know what kind of healing will take place over your life. Stop dragging these dark things from the next stage. You want to know why shit don't work out for you. Because you keep dragging that old baggage to every level of your life. And you wonder why you're not blessed. You want to know why you haven't not yet broken those motherfucking barriers, bitch. Because you're still holding on. I guess it's a message for me too now that I think about it. Because there's some things I gotta let go, bitch. Some of these things are your chains that are holding you down. Because you ain't letting go.
Okay, wait, so then put a motherfucking pin in it. So when you think about the things that you're holding on to, what motivates the holding on to? Like what? Because it's something that's serving you about holding on to it. Is it the anger? Like there's something you're getting from it that obviously is.
Honestly, it's fucked up to say this, but some things I hold on to, I find motivation in.
Okay.
I find my mother, that raggedy bitch, I'll put this out there. The bitch told me one time, you're nothing but a fat ass bus driver. Bitch, have you made it yet? Or are you still a fat ass bus driver? Coming from a crack whore. Girl, please. Get your life together. So it's things like this. So my anger for that bitch, it breeds into motivation to continue to do me, continue to walk this life, whether the bitch is here today, gone tomorrow type of tea, bitch, you will be shown. You will be shown. Hello, whore.
So what if what you perceive as motivation actually is responsible for a lack of manifestation?
That's true too. That's why I put it out there, because I feel like that's one of my issues. I truly feel that. You're right. I'm not going to deny that fact. I wholeheartedly believe that. A lot of the things that we hold on to are blocking our future blessings. God is ready to open that door for you right now. But you just can't get to it because you're going to want to let go of the old door. You don't want to let that door close. I ain't ready to let it close just yet. But who's to say, even for myself, like I feel like those times come when it's really ready. We ourselves, even though I'm the one with the issue, even I can't put a date on that shit on when I'll be over it. I feel like those come like epiphanies. Just like it happens like a wave. You don't expect it. Some of it I've let go, but the major pieces I've yet to do. And now something tells them when that time comes, when the spirits, when destiny decides that it's ready, it'll be released, and then the floodgates will open for me. And next thing you know, oh, bitch, I'll be legend for real.
Period, Pool. So let me ask you this question then. Do you think that because you don't open up a can of worms now. So do you think that how much of what you want is motivated by you and not motivated by I'll show you bitch?
At least 98% of it. The bitch, I don't ever give bitch too much of that energy.
Okay.
You don't ever want to see when you do that. That's when you don't end up walking in your purpose. That's when you end up turning into a raggedy bitch. Now, if I would have twisted that around and made her the 98%, that means I don't know where my life is going to end up. That means I have no control over my life or my future or anything because I've given that bitch too much percentage to control. You feel me? So only 2%. The bitch only gets 2% because sometimes I forget about her. I honestly do. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that bitch.
Yeah.
Or I'll just be talking to my sister and then she'll bring it back. I'm like, oh girl, I forgot that hoe was even alive, child. Or I'll forget these things just because like it's not really. If we're not talking about something that's surrounding that particular thing, like we're talking about trauma, obviously I have to go back and think about those things. You know what I mean? But if we weren't having this conversation, I'll forget all about that hoe.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. And that's what I try to tell people. Through a trauma-filled past, sometimes in life, we're not afforded an opportunity or time to take to process these things. Because if you do and you become overloaded, you end up fucking up your actual life. You can't go to work and have the weight of your entire past on your shoulders. You're not going to be effective at your job. Why do you think pilots, military personnel, people who are in really powerful position, they undergo so many psychological evaluations? People in law enforcement, political figures, things of that nature, you have to be tested. Well, we already know, girl, that sometimes they just run through that shit and call it a day because they just want to put people in positions. But that's why a lot of times that's needed. Because that if you go into that job, let's say you're a pilot, you got all the stresses of the world on your shoulder. You ain't never let none of that go. You're always giving that your attention. How can I trust you as a pilot to fly this plane safely if you're suffering from depression? That might be the day you decide, girl, we're just gonna take everybody with us. No, God. So you have to try to work on these things because you don't want it to have an everlasting effect on your development throughout your journey. And sometimes I promote pausing your trauma. Sometimes if it's too much for you to deal with, put that I know it's probably easier for me because I'm able to detach myself emotionally sometimes. But I encourage people, put that shit on pause real quick, especially if it's not doing you any good. I only bring it up when it's time for me to consider the healing process. I don't ever want to bring it up just to bring it up. Because I'm not trying, I'm looking at it through an anger-filled lens instead of me trying to learn something through that. I've been able to get over a lot of stuff because I briefly take moments throughout my life to focus on that in order to heal it. Some people just hold on to hold on. And that eventually is going to be to you.
No.
What's up, Domi? How are you? I swear it's too easy to love other people. Why folks make it so difficult? I swear love isn't supposed to be a difficult emotion. And I feel that, but it's the most complex because it's so simple, if that makes sense. The simple things in life are always the hardest things to do. I always preach on my platform about love is simple. Coming together in unity and just saying, girl, I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you pray to. I don't give a fuck who you fuck. Why is that so difficult to do? It's very simple. But for some reason, the simplest things in life seem to be the most difficult.
I'm going to tell you why I think that love is difficult. Because love is light. And the one of the unfortunate truths is that we're really fucked up. And you really don't know how much you're fucked up until love happens, because love illuminates all of you, the highest parts of you and the lowest parts of you. So when love happens, everything comes up out of you and in you. And so you have to be willing to let love guide you through the rough patches of yourself, so that, as Yes Bitch said, it come up to be healed. And then once you heal up all those rough patches, that's when love can be as fluid and as easy for people to do amongst each other. But a lot of times people will get discouraged because what comes up is so deep and it's been so suppressed for so long, and there's so much damage there that people don't feel they can ever repair that, or people don't want to go there, or people are afraid of even surviving trying to confront the rough parts of themselves. And so sometimes for some people, they feel it's easier to run from the opportunity to really be healed than to actually heal. One of the most illuminating things Iyanla said to this woman who was dealing with alcoholism, and after Iyanla had got her to agree to go to rehab, the woman came back to Iyanla and she was just in tears, and she was like, I'm scared. She was like, I'm scared. And Iyanla looked at her and said, you're scared because you don't have a frame of reference for the healed version of yourself. See, you know what the broken you looks like. You're familiar with the devil. You have no frame of reference for the woman that's on the other side. So that fear is what you feel. You don't have a sense of familiarity because love, aka healing, is throwing you completely outside of your comfort zone. And people in general don't like to be outside of their comfort zones. People don't like to be vulnerable. People don't like to be exposed. People don't like to know. People don't like to not have objectivity to look into, because oftentimes we use knowledge as a way to be confident in going across the bridge. But sometimes when it comes to healing, you're not afforded any vision about what's ahead. You only get the invitation to come. And then that's when you have to become brave of heart. So love is actually easy, but it's just the things that love, because people got to accept love is a healing phenomenon. So, if you are healed, for you, it may be so easy for you to love, but you may be with somebody who is more damaged than what you realize. And they may not even know that until now trying to love you. And now all of their shit is coming up. And then they have to decide if they want to proceed and heal that shit that Yes Bitch said, or whether they want to run. And some people run, or some people just try to avoid healing altogether. Matter of fact, some people will attempt to wound you as a way to make you compatible to them, rather than healing and becoming compatible with you. Something else that happens.
We also live in a world too. Just to touch briefly on what you said a minute ago about using information, we live in a time where society uses your vulnerabilities and your so-called weaknesses against people. Like even back in the day, if a king became sick and the land found out about it, they would try to kill him and they'd be trying to usurp the guy, for crying out loud. So it's like you can't even have a weak moment around people because we're so trained to think that they're going to use that against us. Instead, realizing that your vulnerability is actually where you have your power. It's those sorry bitches that look at life that way that are going to be fucked up forever. Those same people that try to wield your truth and your so-called weakness and your vulnerabilities against you, those are the people who are going to be suffering. But we have to start thinking. That's why I love independent thoughts. We live in a world, again, where we're so pressured by society that if you don't think for yourself, you're going to forever be conforming to something that you don't truly believe in. And that, in turn, creates a crazy bitch. That's what turned you into an extremist. That's why you're blowing up schools and shooting up post offices, because you yourself are afraid to just be.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yes, God.
Cat, are you ad-libbing from the Avatar, honey?
I am.
Get your ass in here. Where are you? What are you doing? You.
As we slay, we forgot about tomorrow. Slay.
Maybe my charger in my computer.
I
But
need
yeah.
whatever, like whatever got Cat like so mellow tonight. I need me some of that, like, cause Cat is on fucking cruise control. Like he is just cruising seamlessly. I need your secret.
I'll let you know what it is.
Okay.
I'll definitely think what it is. We get off, of course.
We got about a couple more minutes, so we'll stay on real quick. Anything else y'all wanted to talk about?
Yes. It's something that you said that made me want to say something. Yeah, but just do your fucking work. Like, just do your work in life. You will be, yes, healing it. Look, the ugly truth people don't want to talk about, because I always tell people, like, if you want me as an advisor, you need to be prepared, because I'm not a cookie cutter as advisor. Healing is ugly, it's grueling, it's challenging, confronting all of your triggers, being responsible for your triggers, being responsible, like just confronting all of that is taxing. But what's on the other end of that is everything that you want for yourself, but you can't get to that place, like the altitude you're flying at and the altitude of the reality you want to be in are at two different altitudes. You're going to have to come up to the life you want. It's not going to come down to you. So clearing up and dealing with your issues, like, deal with them. I know people think that forgiveness is a cop-out on the person that abused you, but forgiveness actually don't even have shit to do with the other person. Forgiveness has to do with you. You letting go of the shame, you letting go of the guilt, you letting go of the of all of the effects of that experience. And the brutal thing, the nasty thing, how cold the spiritual laws are, is you will think that by not forgiving another motherfucker is somehow paying off for the person you're not forgiving. But once that person who you're not forgiving has forgiven themselves, the spiritual laws open up completely for that person. So while you miserable, that person is now remarried after breaking your heart. While you broke, that person done hit the motherfucking lottery and is living their best motherfucking life. And now you even more bitter and more pressed because you're trying to figure out why there's no accountability. And there is accountability. It's you who have to be accountable. It's you who have to not
I'm gonna rob that bitch. I'm gonna rob that bitch.
And you can do that too. That's fine. You can rob that bitch, but you know,
That's not good, bitch.
Look, because a lot of people always be like, well, why do bad boys finish last? Like, why the fuck niggas get ahead? You know why the fuck niggas get ahead? Because the fuck niggas never stop believing in themselves, no matter how much damage they've done. Fuck niggas always believe that they deserve it. Fuck niggas always keep their confidence level at an all-time high, and that's why they're able to replicate a good thing. You thinking you the last of a good batch? No, that motherfucker going to attract you again and again and again and again. And the only difference between him and you is that he never identifies too much with the self-loathing. He never identifies too much with the guilt of it all. You the one who go down the rabbit hole of feeling awful because of how this nigga did you, etc. So yes, while he's off living his best life, you're dealing with all of the negative residual feedback. Let go and go live your best life. Don't allow nobody to hold you back from that. And we are energetic beings. There are spiritual laws, and they do respond to your energetic posture. So you have to understand how profound that is and what your relationship is to those spiritual laws, because they're shaping and responding to you daily, 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 daily. So just look at your energetic posture, figure it out, do your work, heal, live your best life, And I think Beyonce said it best, child. Like the best revenge, not necessarily is your paper, but is your personal happiness. If you want to ever get back any bitch, whoever hurt you, whoever abandoned you, whoever forsaked you, whoever left you, go find a way to be genuinely motherfucking happy. That's the ultimate motherfucking revenge on any bitch who ever thought you would end up otherwise. Go be happy for real. I think as we Slay said, open up the line. They got a word.
I just put the link in. Go ahead and click that link, baby. You can come through with the word. Hallelujah.
Is as we. I'm looking at the thumbnail. It's very small. Is that it's a female?
A female, yeah.
Okay. All right, got it.
She's been on here briefly before. She was on, was it a guest stop Roundtable or was it just a live we were doing, Kat?
I think it was just a live. I don't think I was a part of that.
I think you weren't there.
I was.
We had her and another girl come on, and they was giving us the tea, honey. I think it was me and you. It was like last year sometime. Oh, she came quick. Welcome, honey. How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
I love your background.
Thank you.
Good to see you, baby.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. Okay, so everybody can hear me good? I'm good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So to go ahead and I'm emotional, okay? I'm an old mom. I had children in my teens and I had children in my 40s. I'll be 41 this year.
Okay.
So yes. So to piggyback on what Conscious TV was talking about when it said about love and nobody taught me about that, I could have reached through the TV and just choked your ass because that was the truth, okay? And I feel like this. Me as a mom to adult women and adult men, I feel like I did drop the ball on them, on talking to them, showing them love and all that because I was in a time where I grew up in the 90s. Actually, I was born in the 80s, but I actually grew up and came into my own in the 90s. I graduated in 98. So, I came in a time where it was about really getting the bag and getting married. You know what I mean? Black women were starting to get into business. We were starting to, in the early 2000s, we were starting to do hair and open our own places and our own franchises. Instagram came. And so a lot of things opened up for us. And so you know what happened? We low-key, high-key put our kids on the background. As long as we feeding them, taking care of them, sending them to school, they got the best shoes on, they okay. But we dropped the ball when it came to that emotional stuff. And the reason I'm going to say that I dropped the ball is because I wasn't taught that. And so now being a teenage mom and now being an older mom to those children that were the same age when I was having them, I'm looking at them like, damn, you listen to that kind of music? Or damn, that's how you let people talk to you? Damn, you don't realize that you're beautiful? Damn. Your priorities are so mixed up. You rather go to work than study to take a test that can get you a better job. You know what I mean? You rather go work your little 9 to 5. Not saying nothing's wrong with a 9 to 5, but when you do have the opportunity to take a step higher, why are you so stuck? Why are you so stagnant? It was me, you know what I mean? So when he said that about the love thing, that struck a nerve for me. I was like, oh, Lord, he's talking about me, Jesus. I couldn't get mad at you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Was the father also involved?
My child's father?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so then I'm just going to offer you that as a caveat to just take responsibility, but don't take all of it because you didn't bring the child into the world alone. There's somebody else who dropped the whole ball, and they have a part to play in the development as well.
Exactly. And then I also beat myself up on that because I'm the one that chose the nigga, you know? So, it's just a lot of me going back around that circle when I don't have to go back, like you said. I correct it. I mean, let's go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Let's take another avenue. Let's round another block, and let's call this block your name. You know what I mean? We're done with my block. I'm done. You know. And so I got married, and I had three more children with my husband. And so now, looking at these little three children and raising them, I raised them on ass whoopings and hugs and kisses.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I refuse to do it again. And I got lucky to be able to do it again.
Do it again. Yep.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of women who die knowing they fucked up and they don't even go back to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even go back to right their wrongs because sometimes that's all the child needs. You know what I
That's
mean? So I never want to be that lady that can't say, baby, I'm sorry, I messed up.
Yeah.
What can I do to help you out? Or what can I do to point you in the right direction to know that I messed up, period. So when you said that, I was like, Lord, let me get up on
Okay,
here
so
and say my little piece.
I probably got 101 questions, but since you are a mom and you are a parent, how do you feel about because we was touching on this earlier too about like the philosophy of I'm raising adults versus the philosophy of I'm raising children. What is your approach to parenting, and how do you feel about those two attitudes?
I'll never be able to say that I'm finished raising my children because whether they're 15, 25, 35, 45, they still gonna come to their mama and ask me questions. Like I'm all kingdom come. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always gonna be their be all, their all. You know what I mean? So I have to deal with them a certain way because I do have to realize, like someone on this panel did say, I have to realize that my children are people too. I was a child. I know how it felt. You know what I mean? So when your children get to a certain level, you as a parent, you have to check yourself. You can't talk shit like you used to be able to talk shit sometimes because it's not gonna get through.
Or
You know what I mean? So
and this is a moment for us to have a conversation and not a dictatorship.
right, right. You have to have respect. Respect is to be respected. That's just point blank. Period. I mean, there's no locking the doors. I mean, like, if I need to bust in there because I feel like the shit going down, I'm gonna bust up in there. This my shit. But I will knock first if there's no problem. You know what I mean? If there's no situation that makes me feel like I need to be mom, so to say, um, then I can respect boundaries because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to raise an adult is to be able to show them how to deal with other adults. And the first adult they're gonna deal with is their parent, obviously. You know, just like me being a woman, the first other woman that my daughter is gonna deal with is me. Now, why a lot of women don't like their daughters, I don't know. But I personally don't want to give off the fact that of the feeling of my daughter that I'm competing with her or I'm shaming her because I did the same shit she did worse. They don't even know we didn't have cell phones back in that day. The shit they could have caught on camera phones when I was young, Lord have mercy. You know what I mean? So I lucked out. They'll never know the fun that we had, before all this stuff came upon. So, I missed out on telling her the fun things that I had and transitioned over to the adult that she is today. Thank God my baby is not no baby mama. She's going to the military and, I don't have no problems with my children. Thank God they were scared of me. You know what I mean? I definitely ruled my house with an iron fist. And I believe in that. That's just what I do. I whoop ass and I ask questions later. But when I do ask questions, I get some answers. I am like, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to whoop your ass, but everybody can get it. Everybody can get these hands in the words of Kendra, okay?
Yeah. Wow.
Who the fuck mama? Shout out to Kendra, girl. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I love a ghetto bitch, honey. I love that shit, honey. Sometimes
And
that's how
nothing,
you have to be. But
especially when they can show their emotions.
let me say this to you real quick. It seems like you were able to look at your children, or what was that point for you where you just sat down and realized and thought about your life as it pertains to how you're parenting and what kind of mother you want to be for your children? Was it just
The way
something
I
that
treat my mom, the way I treat my mom, and the way I treat my dad, the way that I could be so like dismissive sometimes when I get a text, knowing
Mm,
that my mom and daddy on their way out.
mm,
mm,
You know what I mean? I don't want my kids to be that way.
mm,
You know what I mean? If I call them and say, or I text them and say, baby, I want you to hit me up, and I want you to at least hit me up twice a week. And if I can't, if I can't get that, I'm like, damn, where I messed up. And something like I said, when you can't come back and say I'm sorry or I messed up or let's start over, you will never get that love that you want now. And it's messed up. It's messed up because you can't hurt somebody or treat somebody or not treat somebody a certain way, and then when you have an epiphany, come back and be like, okay, I'm ready. It don't work like that. It just don't. You got to show your whole ass. If I say you hurt me and this how you hurt me, show your whole ass to me to make me feel like maybe I could take you back, or maybe I could trust you with my feelings.
mm.
So it's the way that I feel about my parents, and then asking my children certain things. You know how kids can be.
yeah.
I'm like, damn, I I never did that. I sucked that shit up. I did it up in here.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's what made me look and was like, well, damn, what am I doing wrong? Where you feel so freely that you can just disrespect me? But it wasn't disrespect. It was what I was giving to them.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
We,
mean? You
we
are,
have,
you are what you raise. Shit.
Yeah. A product of one's environment.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You
so
gotta
Jay,
Yeah.
children adapt. That's what makes them so special. They
Yeah.
adapt.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
fact that you're able to be honest and upfront and expose those feelings and address them in order so you can be the mom that you want to be and what you,
Yeah.
the proudness that you want to see in their eyes towards you as a parent. Because I always tell my sister or anybody, I'm just like, you want to have rule over your kids, but you also want them to feel comfortable enough to have conversations with you. And they're not looking for your judgment. Sometimes they don't even want you to speak. They just want a listening ear. And when you
Yeah.
have that with your children or with children, period, because my nieces come to me for almost everything because they know I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna well, I might judge your ass real quick, okay, depending on the situation. But you know that I'm not gonna chastise you or make you feel shame. Bitch, spit it out because this is a real life that we're living, and 9 times out
Hmm.
of 10, what you've gone through, I've experienced, and I can give
Hmm.
you the tools that are needed, required, and desired for you to be able to move out of whatever situation that you find yourself in. And I think it's
Yeah.
Yes.
important that
Yes.
parents
Yes.
put that indoor
Yes.
policy with their children and not just
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you can come to me, baby," but then when your child come to you, you start shaming them and cussing them out or making them feel worse than they already are about the situation. That's why you got a lot of young girls who don't even speak about being raped. You got a lot of young boys who even don't speak about being raped. But there's so much shame in that. And from how they talk, you don't think kids see how you talk to your friends and your family. One thing I used to hear a lot in my foster home: faggots this and faggots that. Well, I can't come to you and tell you that I'm gay because the first thing I heard, I remember you saying you don't like me.
Oh.
So I can't have that conversation with you now. Or if your daughter has her first experience with a man or whatever, she feels how you walk around the house and talk about how you'll beat them up and how you'll kick them out if they get pregnant and things of that nature. That means she's not going to want to confide in you and talk to you about
That's
those things.
true. And people do not realize that children listen to. They listen from the beginning because they mimic us.
Yep.
Dad, mama, you know what I'm saying? Boo boo, you know what I'm saying? They can bust it down and break it up better than we can. You know what I mean?
Child, tell me
They're
about it.
they're smart. They're little. I swear to God, they little Benjamin Buttons. Okay, it's a fool. So they see everything that we do. And I was telling my daughter that the other day. I was saying, I know you might, hear me say some stuff or I might feel some kind of way, but I'm gonna tell you this straight up. You say that same shit and you will want somebody else to come to you and tell you some shit. Please don't go out there blind to these streets and you got protection at home. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got you. And there's a lot of parents that should take parenting classes should be mandatory, just like fraternity tests.
Yeah,
It
that's
should be.
true.
I was I was just going to say I am really hard on parents nowadays because one of the things I love about like the hype, like the visibility, like so many queer people coming out now, is because I'm hoping that it makes cisgendered heterosexual people really think about what they're giving birth to, because now the questions get to be, hopefully, what if I bring somebody into this world who's nothing like me? What if I bring somebody into this world who doesn't want any of the things I want? They don't want to be Christian, they're atheists, they don't want to da 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 da. Like, what if they're trans? What if they're gay? Because I think for a long time we've used children as a way to kind of project all the shit that we were unfulfilled in our lives onto them, and now little Davion is now a project for daddy to go like, hey son, go do everything that I didn't do. My job wasn't to come into this world to finish off where you left off at, like, and to have me, you should have been contemplating, like, were you ready to get to know another soul? Were
Or
you
throw me
ready
away
to,
if I don't go there with you. Or throw me away if I'm no fit your standard, you
if
know?
I don't, and that has happened. So many children have been casted out, thrown out of their families, like misfitted or just being emotionally abandoned as a result of not fitting the status quo of the household or the parents or the family, whatever the case may be. So I feel like parenting is a really deep thing. And I think now, like, that we're living in a contemporary age, we have the opportunity now. I think we've seen enough now to be able to sit back first and really contemplate it. Like, to have children, what does that really fucking mean? And what does that really need to look like? Like, what type of children do I want to foster in the world? And am I interested, like, because I brought up a Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, I just have to keep going. And even Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, I love the way their kids turned out. I love how self-aware and intellectual and how much self-awareness
Them kids just know how to
kids
hold secrets.
have.
Period.
But then I just they I think that Jada and Will and Gabrielle and Dwayne, I think they allowed their children to have enough creative range in their life, and the parents took the position of, I'll go on this journey with you instead of trying to tell you what journey you should be on. Instead of telling you how you should be, I'm going to let you teach me about you versus me inform you about who you are. And I think that can literally change
And that's how it should
the
be.
way that, yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
it should be. Because as a parent, you're always learning. As a grown up, shit, I'm 40 years old, I'm still learning about myself.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so you're always learning and getting to know. So just like you change and you adapt to different situations, they do too. Just because they're your kids and oh, that's little Pookie over there, that's a little mama, my little mommy, little boo boo. You know what I'm saying? You know, mommy and little boo boo gonna be a big shit one day. You know what I mean? So you gotta treat them accordingly. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You're right.
I want to say this too. This doesn't really answer your question, Dion, but this is just the thought as we were talking. I was
Beyond
thinking,
them questions.
once you come to a certain stage in your life, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a young adult or a full-grown man or woman or whatever the case may be, you know the difference between right and wrong, the life you want to live versus the life you don't want to live. So I feel like even if you don't know how to be a parent, because we all have at certain stages in our lives, I bet you can say to yourself, there was a moment where you said, oh, especially if you had a fucked up life, you could say, I know I don't want my kids to go through this. You may not be able to point out exactly what that is, but deep down, you know the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. So I do feel like there should come that moment where it's just innate. You know you don't want your kid robbing, stealing, killing. You know what I'm saying? You know you don't want your kid doing that. So you know the rules on how to combat that situation. At least that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the question of who would teach the parenting classes?
Pretty much, yeah. But I took it in a whole other way. Because I do get that, because you got children raising children nowadays, and there's not really that mature or experience, and there really is no right or wrong when you really think about it. It's just making sure they're safe, making sure they're loved, making sure that
communication. You know what I mean? Make sure you communicate. Let's talk. Let your damn child talk.
And teach them compassion. Compassion is free. Teaching them to love is free. Teaching them these things is free. You know what it is to be loved. You know what it's like to have the absence of love. So therefore,
how simple is that though? It's so scary. How simple. It's so simple. Oh, it's so scary. It's so scared. It's so simple.
Yeah. I always tell parents, like, even when it comes to raising leaders, you have to realize that if you want to raise children who have their own mind and don't follow the leader, that means that you have to allow yourself to be the guinea pig for them exercising truth and justice. So that means that when they calling you out on your bullshit, you need to be able to eat that humble pie as a parent and be like, you know what? I want to whip your little ass, but you're right, motherfucker. I'm gonna give you that, because everything has to start within the home. Everything has to start within the parent-the-child relationship. It has to start there. So what you allow there is what really helps set them up later for being able to really stand in their power. So, it's I can't wait to be a dad myself so I can be aggravated by executing all this shit I'm talking up here, because I know it's easier said than done. But I think everybody said it here unanimously. Like, everybody here knows what it's like to be a child. Everybody knows what frustrated them about their experience with their parents. And so just keeping that in mind as you become a parent yourself, and attempting to be mindful about not acting the way my dad acted in this situation, if I felt like a lot of the ways my dad acted was inappropriate or just stupid or made things worse. Just being mindful about breathing, learning to listen, creating a democracy within the home rather than a dictatorship. Like, I remember growing up, like, my mom was so stressed out between just having a crazy ass husband and raising two boys that a lot of times, like, she would come home because, like, she gave us chores. If I remember being in high school, and if the trash wasn't taken out, my mom would come home because she was a daycare provider, and she would just be like, "Why is this motherfucking trash now?" I mean, she was just like so volatile, and I used to remember wanting to strangle my fucking mother because, in her mind, it was like, you ain't got to pay no bills. All you got to do is go to school. The little bit of rules I give you, you should be able to But what she never considered was that I was wrestling through my own sexuality and then going to school with a bunch of punk ass kids who were teasing me and bullying me all day. By the time I'm home, I have nothing fucking left, including taking out the fucking trash. All I want to actually do is just fucking disappear. So while you may be looking at my behavior as lazy, you're not even considering what reality I'm actually living in, but you're also partly ignorant because I don't communicate with you, but I'm not communicating with you because you're always fucking unhappy and you're always fucking angry and you're always telling me what to do instead of just listening to what the fuck I'm telling you instead. Like, I don't, as you guys said, like, sometimes you just need, I just need you to relate. I need you to tell me, well, first of all, I need you to create an environment that fosters trust and openness. Like, How can I even trust you to even? How can I even tell you about this part of my life and you're homophobic your damn self? You've been raised up on what the church said about gay people, so coming to you is not even a fucking option. Like you're just gonna reject me and shut me down like everybody else is doing. That's contributing to a collapse of my own fucking mental health. So it becomes like a vicious cycle, which is why I say it's just a big conversation to have about the way we have to break up a lot of the generational bullshit and how to take these corrective measures. But I just think that it definitely starts with just, I guess simply put, if everybody just worked from the context of love, everything can ultimately be all right. Like just love, like just as, because, and I like what you said, as we slay, when you said you have no problem. Like when you said that,
what my bottle? Hold on. Okay.
Like, no,
Shout out
like
to my
when
little
you said
birthday.
when you say that you don't have a problem apologizing, because like the truth is, kids are a lot like when it comes to the love that kids have for their parents, it's a lot. It reminds me of a lot like like pets. Like it don't matter how stressed you make your fucking pet, that pet has the ability for whatever reason to restart its love and excitement for you. If parents can just get into the habit of, no matter how many mistakes they're making, just always be honest and make it right, like
Yeah,
kids
that's
can move
what.
on.
I swear to God, when you do that,
Yeah.
the way you can dust your shoulder when you go to bed at night because you ain't got nothing on your shoulder that is stopping you from falling asleep.
Yeah, yeah, and children will be empathic. Like when my mom finally started doing that, like when I got older, like being able to apologize, what that helped me to do is then humanize her. As a result of humanizing her, I was able to offer her empathy and compassion, and then I was able to realize, wow, my mom was a little girl with her own upbringing. My mom is also a product of her own environment. She was also shaped by her own experiences. And that made me take so much of the pressure I put on her to perform a certain way, realizing that she could only give me what she had to give me. And what she didn't have to give, she didn't have it. She didn't have it to give me. If she didn't know how to love me at certain places in my life, she didn't have it to give. Like, it's not that she didn't want to. She didn't have it. She could only give me what she was trained to give me, what she thought she needed to give me. And you have to like forgive people in that way and realize like you can't hold people responsible for what they don't know, no matter what role they play. Because a lot of times some of the issues with roles is we think because people play a role that they're equipped and they have everything needed to be in the position they in. So a lot of our parents, as we said here, are learning as they go too. A lot of our parents are realizing the error of their ways by now being parents. So there's a lot of compassion that has to just happen within those relationships. And I'm able to love my fucking mama now and just alleviate her of like all of the fucking resentment I used to hold toward her, because I just realized nobody taught her how to love a kid like me. I'm a witch. I'm a mystic. I'm gay. I'm artistic. I have all these intersections. I'm a black man. Like I have all these intersections. There is nothing that could have equipped her for something like me. I don't know who the fuck could have been ready for something like me. So, she gave me, but what she gave me, regardless of whether it was fulfilling or not, I have to accept that it came from her best. It came from out of what she knew, and I can value it for that, if nothing else. So that apologizing and just repenting, yeah, that's really honorable. And your kids, like, you don't have to worry about feeling guilty about shit, because as you apologize, like, that makes your kids humanize you. And as they get older and they become moms, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I get, mom. I fucking understand now. Like, you do learn as you're going. Like, you don't mean to hurt your children, but sometimes that happens as a result of, look, bitch, we both trying. Like, it's new for you to be a kid. It's new for me to be a fucking parent. Like, we both gonna make our share of whatever. We're gonna come up in this thing together. So, yeah, you are doing an amazing job. If your intention is, I'm becoming aware as I do this. And that's all repentance is. I'm never going to feel guilty as long as I'm learning in life. Like, learning should replace guilt and shame. You can't change the past, but if I'm literally learning and evolving accordingly, that is why I don't have to be ashamed. because that literally then becomes the past. And using the past as information to have a better now is what the past should be used for. The past shouldn't be used to keep you down, to keep you angry, to keep you beat up on. Just extrapolate the wisdom and the information from the past, use that shit to improve your present moment, and then go on into the fruit and the reward of that evolution. So I commend you for getting it as you go. You're getting it and getting it and getting it. And you seem like a dope ass mom. I wish if my mom had that background, that's a sickening mom. That's a sickening motherfucking mom. Like, I'm with
I'm
it.
into the same stuff that you're into, so I could dig it.
How many children do you have?
7.
7. Wow.
My oldest child is 23. My youngest child just turned 1 on Halloween.
Halloween. Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, God, honey.
Yes, God, honey.
I appreciate
Hey,
you.
Jay.
I appreciate everybody.
Yes.
This was wonderful. So before we get out of here, is there any final words anybody want to say?
I want to say thank you. This was great.
Yeah, I love it when we get emotional because, like I said, I'm an emotional bitch.
Yes, and the words of
I
faith.
love it.
The words of faith.
Emotions make us taste the joy of our life. Like, emotions are our taste buds. Like, life wouldn't be
I
working
love
if
y'all,
we couldn't feel
goddamn.
it. Okay.
It's the thing that lets us know, it's the thing that lets us know we're still alive.
Yeah.
You know, that we're still here. We still have a lot more work to be done. It's good. We're not robots. You know, we have hearts. You know, and I appreciate y'all for coming on here and sharing and getting into the minutiae. Okay, yes,
Thank you
God.
for bringing me on, YB. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
honey.
I've
Cat,
been missing
you
you,
over there,
honey.
you, honey, what, hey.
Okay.
I was back there sitting pretty, teeth white. What is going on?
Okay. I'm screaming. Yes, you was a joy. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I
I
love
loved
it.
it.
I definitely appreciate it. It's everything. I love you.
Yes.
And I'm glad you're doing well.
Yes, you look amazing.
Amazing.
No.
You do. You really do. She always, even the first time she came on, she had a little titty that was exposed. The last time she was on here, but she stayed serving truth and justice and stay supporting the platform.
And was still talking and didn't know. They was pulled in. I had to have my baby in, so they was ready.
I know ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
all right now.
All right, love you, baby. Thank you so much. You're welcome anytime.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
As we slay, yes, and we forgot about tomorrow as we slay. Kat, anything real quick before we get out of here? You got any last words?
This was great. I learned a lot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's always another moment of just coming through and speaking our minds and our truth. Nothing was planned. Nothing was planned. Okay.
Look at all these people who did not get their notification. Look at Jay saying she didn't even get her notification. YouTube is trash.
That's why I was trying to put it out through Instagram. So make sure y'all are following Instagram, child. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully that's the way to let you know that we're here and we're queer and we're trying to be everywhere. Okay, yes, God.
Okay.
Before I leave, I like to give my quotes. Gotta get my quotes together, child. And because it's been a while, I'm going to say 2, since we kind of covered an array of topics, but I'm going to say 2 things that relate heavily to all the topics that we discussed today. So the first quote that I have is from Nelson Mandela. And the quote says, "There is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than you are capable of living." Amen.
Amen. I love it.
The next one is one of my favorite people, child. I love Albert Einstein, honey. He said, "Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none."
I received that. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, God. Amen.
And that is the Yes God Roundtable, honey. I appreciate y'all for joining us, coming through. your questions, with your experiences. Again, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, honey. These two wonderful, great content creators that we have before us, my co-host, The Cat's Me Out, and Conscious TV. Please make sure you are liking, commenting, subscribing, and following them on all their social media platforms as well, honey. Get into it, bitch.
Can I tell them to come on over tomorrow night on my platform and check out fine ass Ike Chapman from G Status, who's gonna be gracing us with all of his sexiness, honey. Like, you guys come on over at, is it 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Yeah, come on over. We gonna get all up in Ike's business, honey.
Yes,
and y'all gonna watch me fail at shooting my shot as well.
Wish you were here. Whatever the rest of that song.
Okay.
Because I can't wait to see Ike Child. Like, yes, I
I'll live for Ike.
Honey, make sure you get into his motherfucking ass. We won't know what happens to the rest of this goddamn season.
Okay. God. Well, at least they still filming, so.
Child. They've had 3.5 years. They should have been on season 4 right now. I'm over. They don't get no more of my views. They don't get no more of my reviews. Fuck those people, honey. Anyway.
So you will not be so y'all not reviewing it? Like, you're not gonna be doing the review somewhere? Really?
You know how much stuff is about to come out that I gotta prepare for?
Yeah.
Child, reality's running through these girls. There's 4 different shows about to come out within the month of each other. Girl, G Status can go on somewhere else with that girl.
Are y'all watching that new one? It's something Life. Something Life. I don't know the name of it.
Web Life.
Yeah, with Brandon. I think Brandon's on that.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't? Okay.
They're already about to be done though. They're on like 2 episodes left, and then they're having a season finale or whatever. So
yeah,
that was a quickie. I'll try to check it out where I can get some time though, but I've been busy. Me too. But all right, y'all. Yes, God, that was it. You guys have a blessed day. Don't be stressed. We'll be back with y'all next week, hopefully.
Right, you gonna talk all that shit about
G-Status? I said I've been doing that joke around with Kat because he had like, bitch, you are inconsistent. I'm like, girl, I'm trying.
Look, a bitch is serving y'all entrepreneur teas these days, honey. Get up off high. Get up off high.
And make sure y'all get y'all ticket naturals, girl. Yeah. Make sure y'all support Kat, honey. Imitation, yes, God, honey. You know I played that yesterday in my intro.
I heard. I saw it.
Hold on, wait.
But I heard it.
Okay.
You got a song out, Kat?
Oh yes.
What? Oh yes, my God. Honey. I'm about to get up all up in your business. Yes, God. I'm gonna need the link, honey.
Child, you looking at the next Beyonce.
Okay.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this. Shake your body, delicious for you, baby.
I fucking live. Oh,
we all the Destiny's children.
Okay. And we're all Beyonce. How about that?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Hey.
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Have a blessed night. And thank y'all for coming through. We love you. Take care, y'all.